I just want to try to share my screen. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Hi, Miss Tang. Is your students here already?
Still have a few more.
Few more.
A few more.
Give them a few more seconds.
I think 1 or 2 minutes is enough. Cannot. We don't delay anymore.
Don't delay.
Yeah.
Okay, then we shall start. Good morning. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing this morning? I hope everyone has a good night's sleep and big breakfast. For those who had your breakfast, can you type B in the chat? For those who have not had your breakfast, can you type N? Just to find out how everyone is doing. Oh, some haven't had your breakfast yet. Okay, good. 9 o'clock is a nice time for us to start doing something. Okay, today's webinar topic is skill sets requirement for IT grades to work in government and also ICT industry. Before we start, let me briefly outline the agenda for today. First, we will have a brief introduction of Sabah Computer Society, short name SCS, by our president, Madam Chin Kui Jin. Second, we will have the main talk, which is the skill set requirement for IT grades to work in government and ICT industry by Mr. Isma Safri Judin. Finally, we will have question and answer session. So along the talk, during the talk, if you have any question, please write it down. Then all your questions will be answered during this question and answer session. Okay. Firstly, let me introduce our SCS president, Madam Chin Kui Jin. He has been with Sabah Computer Society for about 30 plus years, taking on different hats or positions during these many years. Professionally wise, she is the head of IT unit of Sabah Development Bank Berhad. He has more than 20 years of experience working in banking and finance industries. She graduated with a bachelor degree in computing science from University of Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Let us hear from Madam Chin Kui Jin, a brief introduction of Sabah Computer Society. So take it away, Madam President.
Thank you, William. First of all, I would like to thank for inviting us to give a talk on this skill set requirements to work in the IT industries. Just a minute, let me share my screen. Can see?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let me give a brief introduction what we do, right? Our Computer Society is founded in 1980, and now we have about 61 members, and all these members have their own professions, and some have their own IT firm, some IT training centers, some work in private firms, and some work in the government departments. We all contribute our time and service on a voluntary basis. We don't work full-time in Sabah Computer Society. We have our own job. What our objective? Our objective is to share the knowledge with our members to keep them abreast with the latest technology and the related industries. We also service to the public by bringing the ICT knowledge, awareness, and learning opportunities to them. So that's why we have activities organized for the public. So we work very well with ministries and corporations to materialize our activities. So one of our main program is e-waste awareness and collection. We have this every year, except for last year because of the pandemic, we are unable to held it. But for this year, we're trying to do one in month of October. And we want to continuously make awareness to the public to promote recycling in a proper way. And we also have computer camps every year, also except last year, because of the pandemic, we are unable to hold it. But this year we're going to hold it online. And what we do is we teach the elderly the latest IT technologies or gadget or apps so that they can keep up with their own children and grandchildren and the society, what is new in the market. We also give ICT talk, a workshop for students and adults. We also organize seminars, ICT symposium. For example, that we have last time, e-commerce seminar, ICT symposium on the digital economy. And we have speakers from the West Malaysia to come in to share their experience and knowledge. And but of course, we also have activities for the members. So we have a members development talk and workshop organized for them. We also have study tour and visit to the related industry. For example, a few years ago, we went to China, Hangzhou to visit Alibaba's campus. And we also organize social gathering, annual dinner, and we also do social welfare and charity. So this is the committee, but this photo is taken for the committee 2019 to 2020. We haven't had time to take a picture for 2021 because of the pandemic. We're unable to gather together, and because of the social distancing, we can't take a group photo. So, but anyway, the committee is more or less the same. Only one person is different from this photo. And are you interested to contribute to the society? If you are interested, you can join us by downloading the application form at the website www.scs.org.my. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam President, for introduction. Now, if you have any question, okay, just remind you again. You might want to write it down. I'm afraid that you might have forgotten it later. Okay, and then you may ask Madam Chin during the question and answer session. We will be very happy to answer all your questions. Okay, so next come. Now we have Mr. Isma Safri Judin as our main speaker for today's topic, skill set requirement for IT grades to work in government and ICT industries. Mr. Isma graduated with a Bachelor of Science Technology Honours Computer Engineering from the University of Malaysia, Sabah. He has a total of more than 15 years experience working with different state ministries in Sabah. Currently, he is the head of information technology of Sabah State Water Department. Just changed head from the head of training and competency of Sabah State Computer Service Department. He is the Executive Council member and also the head of education and training hub for Sabah Computer Society. Okay, Mr. Isma, hand it over to you. I hope you all enjoy this exciting and meaningful talk.
Okay, thank you, William, and good morning to everyone. Good morning to our Madam President, Chin Kui Jin, and also Ms. Thank you for inviting us to do this morning talk. So today, let me just share my screen. Okay, so everyone can see it. So basically today, I just want to share, based on my experience, the skill sets requirements for IT grads to work in the government and ICT industry. As mentioned by Mr. William, I've been working in the government for almost more than 15 years, and also before that in a few private sectors. So I'm not really sure, Ms. Teng, is it all the students are a diploma or degree, studying for diploma or degree?
Students here is actually from diploma and also degree. Both.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right,
For that.
thank you. So good morning, everyone. I know you all prefer to be at the comfort of your bed this morning, but hopefully I won't bore you this morning. So let me start. Okay. So basically, I just want to this morning it will be a brief uh, talk on based on my experience working in a few ministries, departments, and also a few companies. Okay, so I will do the introduction, and then I will introduce a few of the skill sets, and then maybe we can have a Q&A, and that would be it. And also, let's try to make it less formal. And if you have any questions, just write it on the chat, or you can ask. Okay. So let's not be too serious this morning. And for those who have not had their breakfast yet, maybe you can have your breakfast while listening to me. Okay, so basically these are the skill sets. I know there's a lot of skill set at the moment. If you look at, if we Google in the internet, the jobs that are in demand at the moment, there are a lot of IT related skills. So this is just a few skills based on my experience that are needed when you want to work in, especially in the government and also in the ICT industries. So number one is a support professional, and then programming, system and network administrator, database administrator, cybersecurity. This part is the most, to me, I guess, the current and more difficult ones. Internet of Things, data analysis, cloud computing, and of course, machine learning and artificial intelligence. Okay, so let me start with support professionals. Okay, when I started working in the government, I started from you could say a very low grade, which is the technician, and I've been through, you could say, from the bottom up. So I've worked my way from technician to programmer, and then to software developer, and then to most of the skill sets that I will be talking about today. So I also have been to a few ministries, and I've been to a few departments, and also I've been to the branches in all over. I've been all throughout Sabah. I used to work for the Ministry of Local Housing and local uh, local government, and I used to go all around Sabah and help all the uh, district office. So I guess you could say I've done almost everything related to IT for the state of experience for the state of Sabah. So let's start with support professionals. Support professional is the first line of defense for customer service, and like it involves troubleshooting, help desk workers, and then most of it is related to technical jobs. Like for example, help troubleshooting. Mostly when I started my when I started my job at the government sector, I started as a technician. So what we do is we used to go and do troubleshooting for all our clients. Our clients are the staff of the government. So like if they have OS problem, if they have let's say small technical not too heavy technical problems, we would help to solve them. So this is where we start. This is where you start. If you have to enter this part of the profession, you probably need a certificate from a technical school or a diploma. So I don't know if some of you are doing diploma. So if you're going into the government, you'll be starting out as a technician. So this is probably the base of where you start your job at the government. And also when I was working at the private company, I used to do technical jobs like I would do troubleshooting and cabling, network cabling. So probably you need the skills how to troubleshoot OS, and then probably if the customers have problem with printing, and then they have problem with okay. If they have problems, anyone trying to ask a question? Is it okay? Sound?
I think Yap Wai have the mute the microphone on. Please mute it.
Oh, okay. So let me continue. Like I said, the support professional is the basics when you enter the government, and also for some private companies, they will require support professionals, mostly technicians. Okay, so these technicians, they do a lot of traveling for troubleshooting, usually at the branches, at the section. So you must also have a good soft skill. Most of IT professionals, we are very introvert, so we don't talk much, but usually we need a little bit of soft skills so that we can communicate with the customers and also the other staffs. So that's a good requirement to have. Okay, next, after I became a technician, you probably get upgraded to programming. So programming is being able to program with must for those who want to develop software. So we all know that like software development, web application, and websites, we do a lot of programming. Okay, so like maybe if you do website, you use HTML, and then most of us in the government we use PHP, and also now with the new programming language, you have like a JavaScript, and then you have Ruby, and then PowerShell, and all these new JSON and all these new languages. So basically, as a IT graduate, it's always a continuous learning because the technology is always developing you could say almost 3 to 5 years. So you need to learn, for example, if you do programming, you need to learn new languages. So this is important. So it's a never relaxed environment for IT grads. You have to keep learning, always learning, and especially for you young guys and girls, you will probably be taught a lot of new technology now compared to us. So like for us who's been in the workforce for 10 to 15 to 20 years, we have to learn the new stuff. Okay, so yeah, it's a bit challenging lah for especially old guys like me. Okay, so there's a question from Melissa. Is ASP.NET Framework like you said? Yes, We use ASP network of, okay. When I started a few years ago, we did use ASP network, but now we have moved to PHP, and of course we still have programmers in ASP, and but because in the government we try to reduce costs, so we try not to use like Microsoft products, so we use open source products like PHP, JavaScript. So it depends on which organization you work for. If you work for certain public sector, maybe they use ASP.NET programming. Yeah, and I think when I entered the job early in the 90s, even they still were using VB programming. I don't know if you've heard of VB programming, but they don't use VB programming anymore. So that has been upgraded to, I think, ASP, right? Okay. Thank you for the question, Melissa. Okay, now, mostly these programmers, they don't, compared to technician, they don't travel much. They just stay in the office and do the programming. And it's more, for example, in JPKN, where I used to work, we have about maybe 50 programmers doing systems for the government. So there's a lot of demand for programmers, especially if you know PHP and if you know Java. So that would be a good skill set to have. Okay. So next is okay. This is the system and network administrator. Okay. So system and network administrator is making sure computer system and networks are operating smoothly and central to the work of an IT team. Okay. So typical roles specializing in this skill set include system administrators and network administrators. System and network skills can also be useful for working in cloud administration and security as well. Okay. So this is another skill set if you want, because as I mentioned earlier, in the IT world, especially when you leave college, there's a lot of what do you say, specialists you need to focus on. So once you leave once you grade from either your diploma or your degree, you need to think about which IT specialist you want to be. Okay, you cannot be just because it's difficult to be just in a general IT. I know, because I know there's a lot of degrees now that is so general that is almost not relevant in the working industry anymore. You know, it's too general. So you need to be specific. You need to be a specialist in at least one of these skill sets. Okay, so like previously when I was head of the training and competency, we used to get a lot of students applying for industry training at our department, and some of them they said that they have a degree in computer science, but they don't have a specific skill set. So it's difficult for them to get into the work environment if you don't have any specific skill sets. For example, in the government, we have a very specific department for very specific skill sets. So you need to, so for you young guys and girls, you need to think once when you leave your university or your college, you have to think about what specialty you want to do. Okay, so I think you have to think about it while you're still studying, so that you can prepare yourself once you grad, because I think it's too late by the time when you grad and you say, okay, I want to upgrade my skill set once I grad, but that'll be too late because the competition is so fierce when you get into the working environment. Okay. Yes, Melissa. Yes, CCNA and CCA4 having that cert from would be a very good advantage for you. You know, any kind of a certificate from like the what they say, all these companies would be a very good advantage, like CCNA, and then of course the Microsoft certificate, all those certs. If you can get it, it will. Yeah, Cisco. That's right. Yeah, thank you, Cisco. Yes, if you have those certificates, that would be a great advantage. We look for them. We look for those guys and girls who have those certificates, because when you come to system administrators, you'll be working like looking after the networks in a department, and then probably you will also be a system administrator for the servers, you know. So that, so we're having those like Cisco, and then like IBM. Well, it also depends on what that particular department is, what kind of systems they are using. So mostly we know we are using like I think a few of us, a few of the departments in the government, they are using Cisco's, you know, for the for the servers, for the networks, you know, and some of them like firewall for the softwares. So it's very important. So like administrating diverse operating system like Windows, Linux, or Mac is important. So you'll be doing installing and configuring computer hardware and software, and then cloud administration and application. So now we're looking at the moment, the technology is cloud computing. Okay, so we're no longer looking at standalone systems, or at the moment like central data systems on premises, but now it's more towards cloud computing now. All the servers we say in the clouds. Maybe I will talk about that later in the cloud computing. So, you know, so if you're a system and network administration, you'll be maintaining local area networks, wide area network, storage areas, and virtual private networks. All these. Also, we have a lot of VPNs. And of course, if you're working at the department, you will be looking after the LAN. I don't know if in the college, there'll be someone, for example, at your college, probably someone is looking after the LAN. So those are system and network administrators. Maybe you can like have a few conversation with those people who are taking care of the LANs at your college, and see what kind of experience they go through. Okay, so those are one of the specific net skill sets. Those like in JPKN, like I used to work in the branch in Hadatu, so I had to take care of the land and the WAN in that area. You know, I covered 3 districts: Hadatu, Kinabatangan, Kunak, all those East Coast. So there's a lot of responsibilities in that as well. And then, of course, if you're working at a big department with a lot of branch, then you have to think about the VPNs and all those wide area networks. So those are very good skill sets to have, very important. Okay, so then you have the database administrators. Okay, a database administrator is responsible for maintaining the software used to manage a database and ensuring the data is easily accessible to those who need it. Okay, so DBAs ensure that servers remain efficient and operational while overseeing data security. Okay, implementation, replication, backup, storage, access, and partitions. So you want to hire someone who can not only monitor your servers, but who will also able to optimize performance, who can be on call in case of emergencies. Okay, this we have these database administrators also in our government, and these people are working at the data centers and they look after the servers. So these people are always on call every time we develop a software, and then we host it in our own database. And then when the server is down, then these people are the one we call, and then they have to work like to be on call, you know, 24 hours, which is it's very challenging, because sometimes when there's an important software like is down, then they need to go to the data centers and then fix it, you know. Sometimes even during this, the good thing about if you're a network, okay, the good thing if you are a network administrator or database administrator during the MCO, you can travel. You have the they give you the access to travel during MCO because you are you can say considered a frontliner. Okay, so that's a good thing, I guess. So database, we have our own database center. We also a few in Sabah for the state government. We have a few. Some of them are for backups, and we have some on the East Coast, some on the West Coast. So if you want to focus on database administrator, you need to have a lot of skills in how to maintain servers. Okay, so I don't know if at your college you have your own server, so probably there'll be some guy there who will always be making sure the servers are running smoothly, especially during holidays, especially during long holidays. Some of them probably cannot sleep well because they want to make sure that the servers are running well. If not, the handphone will be ringing from day to night. Okay, now this is considered quite new and very important at the moment, which is cyber security. Okay, in our department, in our government structure, we also have a cyber security experts. Okay, so security should be foundation to any IT team, starting out in help desk, networking, or system administration. Bro, can introduce you to concepts that are helpful to know for security purpose. Okay, so the following skills can help you qualify for IT security position, like information security analyst at the entry level and beyond. So this is some of the skills you need for cyber security. So now one of the skill sets that are in demand currently in the working environment, even whether it's a government or whether it's a private, is this guy, a cybersecurity guy. Okay, so this is recently, I don't know if you've heard, but there was I think it was earlier this year or end of last year that there was a team of anonymous groups trying to hack into a few of the government systems and a few of the government websites. So these guys were the ones who tried to secure and then make sure all the systems are operating well. Of course, just for your information, even the state of Sabah, even though we are a small state in this world, we are being attacked every day from hackers from all over the world. We have a system that we can see all those attacks from all over the world trying to attack our system. So every government needs cybersecurity. So this is very important. If you are have a skill set in this, then you'll probably be one of the guys who are sought after you graduate, because hackers are always trying to infiltrate our systems every day. I'm not talking about just a few, but hundreds every day. We get hacks trying to infiltrate our system. So we have a few software, defensive software like firewalls that help us protect our system. So there's no need to worry for Sabah State Government. I think we are in good hands. We have a few guys who are cybersecurity experts at our department. So they're always looking at we have a security center, and they're also looking at all these attacks. Some of them even from Europe, some of them from Africa. So it's happening. It's not when they say we are being attacked, and then I think some websites were compromised during those times, but we managed to contain that. It didn't went out of our hands. So that's one of the things we were trying to make sure that our government is operating like normal, even though people don't see that we were under attack. Okay. So far so good. Am I the only one still here, or okay? This one is the Internet of Things, or what we call IoT. Most of you have heard of this IoT. Okay, so the Internet of Things is now transitioning from pilot purgatory to IoT at scale, enabling organizations to transition from pilots to enterprise-wide solution requires strong IoT capabilities across the stack in connectivity, edge computing, AI, and cloud. Okay, now currently I am the head of IT at the Sabah Waterworks department, and we are also doing IoTs to improve our water services. Like we have all these our district, our labs, and all that. We try to use connected appliances, and we try to use smart security systems. Okay, and then smart factory equipment which involve GIS, wireless inventory trackers. Now this is currently we are developing the system wireless inventory trackers to track all our assets throughout Sabah, because Sabah is a very big state, and in order to track all our assets we use GIS. So if you have a specific skill of IoT, I think it's a very important, it's a good thing to have. Okay, so it's a new thing. It's a new thing. IoT is a new thing. I think just for the past 10 years. So maybe I hope you are learning IoT at your college. So right now, even we are using biometric cybersecurity scanners and all this. And then there's a group of people we are working with, which also usually help Sabah Community Society, which are called Kinabalu Coders. They're helping us with a lot of IoT technologies, and we are doing joint venture work with them at the moment. So some of the things that IoT implementation, like I said, for the state is tracking vehicles. Like in last time used to do, there was a system in our local government where we track the use of the garbage trucks. We want to know how efficient they can be, the route they're taking, and then how much time do they need to pick up the garbage and all that. Okay. And at the moment, we're also proposing for buses, how to track buses so that so you don't have to wait at the bus stop. So you know when the buses will come, and that's one of the proposal I think we're doing for DPKK. And just like I think Internet of Things, like now we're using, like for example, Grab is using Internet of Things for the GIS and all that. So that is one of the important skill sets I think that you need in ICT today. This is also very important, and I'm also doing this at the moment, which is data science, data analysis. Being able to analyze data will be useful for various IT tasks. Monitoring performance data can help teams find security threats to see where inefficiency exists in the operations. Jobs that work with data in the IT realm include database administrators and data engineers. Yes, okay. So this part of the skill set, you need to be a good, at least a good programmer, and also be at least have some skills in database administration. Okay, so what you need is like SQL, Python programming, and then we also sometimes use Hadoop. So they say that this is the most sexiest ICT skill sets to have. I don't know. Okay, how about yes? Yes, Melissa, you do need R programming skills. Python and R. We use R and Python in big data. Yeah. Those are the two most common language to use for data analysis. Python, or you can either use Python or R. But for me personally, I think Python is a bit easier than R. Yeah, so that's why we use Python. But yeah, if you have a skill set in R, it's also very important, and it's a very good skill set to have. I think this is one of the skill set where all department needs it. I think, yeah, if you grade with this, I don't think you have any problem finding a job. Okay, so most departments now, for especially in the government, we have a lot of data, and we have a lot, like it's thousands of data, but we don't. From before, we didn't know how to analyze the data, but now with this skill set, at least we have some clues of what is what we can do with the data. So at least we can predict some problems, and then we can predict what is going to happen based on the data. So data, they also have this another program, it's called business analysis. So this is part of it as well, business analysis, data science. So I don't know at the college whether you have a specific like they have a specific diploma, a degree for certain ICT specialists. So this is a good skill set to have. Okay, I mean, if you can teach this part at the college, that would be very good. Okay, now this is cloud computing, like I mentioned before. It's also one of the new and one of the now popular thing, listed as one of the most in-demand skills of 2021 by Global Knowledge. Okay, cloud computing skills include anything from building cloud infra to maintaining them. Working with cloud technology can open doors to position like cloud developer, cloud administrator, and cloud architect. Okay. We offer an elective course intro to that. Yes, that's good. That would be good. Yes. To have a data science diploma level, I think that's a good start. Yeah. So like even now, if you start as a data science expert in diploma level, then if you choose to continue after your diploma into your degree and then focus more on data science, I think that would be amazing. And also like at the moment, also for me myself, I'm applying for a master in business analysis, so which is very in demand at the moment. So it's good that your college have big data, big data skill sets and big data diploma. Okay, so now, like I said, cloud computing. Okay, back to cloud computing. Now, cloud computing now, as I mentioned, we used to have our servers on premises. We call data centers, right? So we also know them as the data farms. So like now when you do, before when I started working, we used to have a lot of servers and server racks on our premise for the servers. Okay, so one of the problem with this is sometimes costing in making those data centers, because you need a very special room, and it's very expensive to create if you're a small business. But now, with the technology, even a small company can start without having their own data centers. What they can do is use a cloud computing, like a cloud service, like AWS, Amazon, Google Cloud, Microsoft, and Oracle. So these big companies, they provide the data centers at a very cheap cost. So you pay for what you use, which is good. Okay, so if you, I think Google giving free free courses on their sites. Maybe some of you should check it out. How to become a Google expert. So if you want to be a database administrator for cloud, then maybe you should try Google. Okay. So these are basically database administrators, but they operate not on-prem, but through database center somewhere else. Okay, so like for example, Google, they have their own database, so we we just use their services. So we, for example, like Google Drive, where you can share documents through the cloud. Okay, so you don't actually have a physical hardware on your prem. You just have to make sure you have a good internet connection, and then you can use the Google's the server services, what you call a cloud server. Okay, but this also depends on, for us probably in the big city areas it would be not a problem. But before, when I was in the district, the problem is, of course, internet connection, because as we know it, Sabah is a very big state, and some of the state in the rural areas, we still don't have the infrastructure, okay, for to get a good access of the internet. For example, like the student who she had to climb the tree just to get the connection. Okay, so it's very sad. But at the moment, we have I think the federal government have a plan, a 5-year plan to put in 5G in Sabah. So hopefully this will realize for us. So once we have 5G, then I think there's more opportunity for us to use more cloud computing. Okay, now I think this is the last one. Okay, this is also important. Machine learning and artificial intelligence. Okay, so a skill useful for programmers and data professionals. Machine learning, a subset of artificial intelligence, has become one of the most prominent skills to learn in the technology sphere. You can start learning basic skills throughout online machine learning coursework. Okay, so specific skills you need are parametric and non-parametric algorithms, kernels, clustering, deep learning techniques. So if you want to become an expert in machine learning and artificial intelligence, I think you need to be a good programmer. You need to be a good software developer, and also a good data analyst. Okay, so this is probably the if you combine all those skill sets that I mentioned earlier, then if you have all the good skill sets you combine, then maybe you want to move to this machine learning and artificial intelligence. Okay, so I think even students right now at the age of 9 and 10, they started learning programming at schools. So programming has become a very important skill set to have, because we're moving towards this technology, machine learning, artificial intelligence. We are now developing software that can think for itself, or so to say, artificial that can adapt to problems. Like, for example, we are developing softwares that we are developing softwares that can not depend on human feedback, but also the algorithm within that software can think for itself. Okay, so that's one of the current and more in demand skill set to have. And we also have worked together with UMS on some of these skill sets, machine learning and artificial intelligence. Okay. Yeah, intro to AI. Oh, you have that too. Okay, that's good. So if your college have at least intro to AI and also machine learning, that would be good. That would be good. And I think all these skill set, at least I hope that you guys have covered some of this in your either when you're doing your diploma or your degree, you have covered almost all of these skill sets. Okay, and then if you are doing your diploma and then you wish to continue towards your degree, maybe at your degree you can focus on any one of these skill sets to be more specialist. That would be a very advantage for you. Not to be so general, but to focus on what you want. Okay, I think that would be my advice for you guys and girls, to be more focused and to be more specific in your IT genre. Okay, not to be so general. Okay, I think that's my last slide. So I think if there's any Q&A, we can maybe I'll give it back to William for the Q&A. Oh yeah, sorry, William. Before I end, sorry, just one more thing. Sorry. Sorry. I just want to share that. Okay. If you want to do an industrial study attachment at JPKN, please go to our website, because we accept students who are doing the industrial training attachment. So maybe you can go to website and apply. So usually we have students from all over Malaysia applying for JPKN student attachment. Any IT related degree or diploma, either for, I think, minimum, I think you can have 3 months or 6 months, you can have an attachment at our department. So we also have branches in Sandakan, Tawau, Keningau, Kota Marudu, and Sandakan. So if you're anyone from that part of the world, then you can have your attachment there. Okay, but our HQ is at the PPNS, the new government building at near Yayasan Sabah. So it's a very nice building. So if you want to do an attachment there, please visit the JPKN website and apply for it.
Okay. Thank you,
So,
Mr. Isma.
yeah, let me just answer this one question
Okay.
from Rashikin. She says, do you think there are different practices from private sector and government ministry? Okay, there are difference and there are similarities. It depends on which organization you want to apply to. So for government, it's basically, I think from my experience throughout the state and also the federal is almost the same. It's almost the same. The requirement, I think what I mentioned is almost the same. And for the private companies, it depends which companies you work for, because according these private companies, they have specific businesses. So it depends on the demand. If the company is concentrated more on let's say cloud computing, then you have to have that kind of skill. So it depends on what which sector you want to go to. Of course, in terms of, okay, people say that in terms of salary, of course, private will provide a bigger salary. Well, not necessarily. It depends on which company you go to. Okay, so if it's a big company, then of course the salary would be much better than the government. But if you go to a small company, then of course it depends on the business. So it depends on what specialty you have, what you want to do, and which company do you want to target for. I think that would be a very good vision to have. You know, okay, what special you want to do, and then which company you want to target for. Let's say if you want to, okay, of course in Sabah we don't have that much big IT companies. You have to go to across the pond. Either you go to Singapore or you go to Kuala Lumpur. Those are where the big IT companies are. Okay, so if you want to go to like Google, all these like Cisco and all these companies, then you go there, and then you have to be specific for what you want to apply for. Okay, but like I said, if you want to be a database administrator, if you want to be a network specialist, programmer, you have to be specific. That's my only advice. Okay, thank you. If no more question, then I hand it back to William.
We still have question and answer session, Isma.
Okay. I think my time is quite good, right? So 9:54.
Yeah, your time is just right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Can I? Oh, okay. So thank you, Mr. Isma. Your talk is I have learned something new from your talk. I'm not sure the other people have learned something new or not. Especially all this AI, Internet of Things, and so on and so forth. These are very new topic to us. And I hope maybe in the future we have more talks like that from Mr. Isma. Okay, now is the question and answer time. According to Ms. Tang, students, one of the area that you will be given point is your communication skill. I know a lot of computer people, they are like Mr. Ismail say, are introvert. They can type, yeah, they can type question into the chat. So for this session, for the students, I hope you can unmute your mic and speak out your question and ask either Mr. Isma or Madam Chin, okay, about your question, so that Ms. Tang can evaluate whether your communication skills worth that points or not. Is that what you have intended, Ms. Tang?
Mr. William, that's part of it as well, actually.
Okay.
Because communication skills, I think, is really important, and it's no matter in what area, and especially in their working environment. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just
Right.
to add to what Ms. Teng and Mr. William said, yeah, it's important to have that soft skill as a, even though we are IT graduates, it's important to have that soft skill to communicate, because sometimes what I notice is a lot of these programmers, they have conflicting ideas because they don't know how to communicate, how to express themselves in a way that to explain to the client. So sometimes we as IT guys, technical guys, when we talk to like non-IT guys, it's like a chicken talking to a duck. So you need to have that soft skill to communicate what is it that you want to present or what is it that you want to create. So sometimes if you cannot communicate very well, then you have a very challenging time at your during your working experience.
Okay. So now, students, this time is for you. Unmute your mic and raise your question.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you state your name? Okay.
Okay. So like I said, if you want to be competitive and you want to have that advantage, as I said, you have to be specific specialist. Like you have to be focused on what you want. I think right now, if you're doing your diploma or degree, try to be focused on what you want to do. Either, like I said, all those the 9 skill sets. You cannot be just in general IT expert. There's no more general IT expert. Okay, if you want to get into the working environment, you have to be a specialist. So you want to be like, if you want to be a network specialist or a database specialist or a software engineer specialist, then you focus on that, and then you go after all those exams and certificates for that particular specialist. Like I think Melissa said about the CCNA with Cisco. So if you want to be a network specialist, then you go after all those certificates. Okay, those exams. That will be a great advantage when you go out to look for work, especially big companies. Like if you want to go for Cisco's, a lot of the companies that are using Cisco technology, or if you want to go for companies that are using Huawei technology, so you have to do a little bit of research, what you want to do. And let's say if you have a target company you want to go to, you have to do a little bit of research on that company, what technology they are using, so that you will, let's say if you really want to work for example, if you really want to work for Cisco, right? So you go after all those Cisco's exams, because they will look for those kind of guys. If you want to go for like people who are using Amazon, AWS, or if you're looking for companies that using Google, so you go after those exams on Google or on Amazon. So it depends where you want to go. So you have to decide. Yeah, I think that's my advice.
Okay. Next questions.
Hello, Mr. Isma, and
Yeah, hi.
thanks everyone. My name is Yong.
Yeah, hi,
I want
Yong.
to ask about freelancing in IT development. Is that a good path to take?
Yeah, I think at this current moment, even especially during the MCO, it's an alternative. Freelancing is an alternative. Of course, most of us would, maybe most of us would like to be our own boss. So if you want to be your own boss, then doing a startup or doing freelancing would be good. But then, like I said, what do you want to freelance in? You have to be focused. Okay, you cannot just say, okay, I want to do freelance, but what is it that you want to do freelance in? You want to do freelance in software development, multimedia, whatever you want to do freelance, go ahead. Or if you want to do a startup, go ahead. Be your own boss, but be more specific. That's the only thing. Be more specific. Uh, Decide what you want to do. You cannot be like a freelance for everything. You cannot be a good expert if you want to cover everything. You cannot cover everything. There's too much. So be focused on one specific specialty, one specific skill set, and focus on that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, good. That's a good question. Okay. Do we have another questions?
Hello. For my question, my name is Terry.
Yeah. Hi, Terry.
Is there a certain programming language that is like a must-have?
Okay. I think for me personally, I might not be right, but I think you must have at least, for me right now, is PHP. If you have PHP, then that would be a good start for you, because a lot of organization and mostly in the government, we use PHP as the basics, because PHP is open software. It's free. Okay, so if you want to start, maybe you can start with PHP, and then you can start with Java. All these open source languages. Try to master all these open source language. It's free. Okay, but then as you said, if you want to go for a specific, like I think Melissa said, ASP, then you can go for ASP. But those things cost money. Yeah, they need license. So especially for students, be focused on try to focus on the open source like PHP, and then currently they're using Java, and then you progress from that. Okay, once you master that, then you progress. Okay, you learn things new that because once you have the basic, then you can learn the more advanced languages. But I would suggest PHP would be a good start. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions?
Hello. I'm
Yeah.
Kelvin Syaf.
Hi, Kelvin.
Does IT usually normally switch the company often when they're doing jobs?
Oh, you mean? Oh, okay. So like, I like all this new generation. From what I notice is they like to jump from one company to company, of course, because they are after the big salary, right? So especially if you're in like Singapore or you're in KL, of course you're looking for that big salary. So once you like I said, once you have this specific expertise, and then you upgrade your skill, of course you will be more in demand. So you will have more choices. Okay, so then people will offer you jobs with high salary. So you have opportunities to go anywhere you like. So that's norm. That's a normal, I think, for today. So it depends. Of course, you cannot like be. They say beggars cannot be choosers, right? If you don't have any specialty, you don't have demands, then how can you switch companies? It's not, So usually for me, my advice is, if you're a new grad, try to stick to one company for a few years to get your skills, to upgrade your skills. Okay, so like Once you graduate, stick to one company to upgrade your skills, what you want to upgrade to become a specialist in. So then once you have that special skill set, then you can look. Then if you want to jump, let's say jump ship, then you can know where to jump with those skills. For example, you can go to LinkedIn and see what companies are looking for what kind of skill sets. Okay, but you cannot say, oh, I like to jump here and jump there. But if the people don't want you, there's no way to jump. Okay, so it depends on how demand your skills are. Okay, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, except if you're in the government, you probably stay. If once you get into the government, once you leave, you cannot go back in. So usually either you jump or you stay for until like me, I stay until my pension lah. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Any more questions?
Yes, hello. This is Ken Lee speaking.
Ellie.
All right, so I have a question for Mr. Isma. So earlier you mentioned that a general IT expert is no longer a thing, so everyone should be specializing in something.
Yes.
So my question is, do you have any suggestions? Well, because I believe most of us still have not decided what to specialize in yet now. So do you have any suggestions to maybe how we go about discovering what we should specialize in, like maybe based on our interests or maybe even like popular trends, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, okay, that's a good question too. Okay, if you want to choose, like, okay, like you said, you have not decided yet, maybe you're still early in your studies, right? So it depends on what my advice is. You have to be, what is your passion? If your passion is in programming, then you should go after programming. Not everyone likes programming. Okay, so if your passion is in the network, then you go after network or database, etc., etc. Don't. My advice is don't go after something because it's popular, because it's in demand, but you don't have passion for it. Because later, then you might lose interest. If you lose interest, how can you develop yourself? It's difficult to develop yourself if you don't have the interest. Okay, so go after something that you are interested in. Okay, it doesn't matter which specific skill set. As long as you have passion for it, then you will always be willing to do the extra job, the extra work because of your passion. Okay, so like if you have to, of course, don't wait for too long to develop that passion lah. Okay, you have to be like before you grad, at least you have some idea what your passion is. If you want to do programming, do programming. If you want to do database, you do database, network, and etc. Okay, but go after something that you're really interested in. Okay, and then you develop from that. Don't go after something you're not interested in. It would be hell for you when you start working if you're not interested in what you're doing. It's not good. That's my personal experience.
All right, thank you for your advice. I'll take it into consideration.
Okay, good. Yeah. So it's good that we can start early. We need to look around us, observe how people live every day. I have listened to a talk by a professor in China. People commented China. China is a place where a lot of things that they do or innovate or they created are based on daily functional requirement. So they actually look at how people live, how people make payment, how people live in the town, the city, and to the urban area. So they innovate different kind of software, hardware, you know, to make China such a explosive, innovative country. So I think for Starbucks, especially young people in the younger generation, we should look around how we live our daily life, how actually some innovation, some creative thinking will make our life more easier. So you start young. I know a lot of students, they are very bright, very creative, talented. Even in the 13 years old, 14 years old, they start creating projects for the school, for the family, for the relative, for the friends, or even for the community. So from there, you will be able to, find out what's your interest. To have a very successful business or business entities, actually, the startup normally they have people who are technical. If you are technical, you need also people to, how to say, to work with you are the people who have this marketing skill. And also you have to work with people with management skill. So if you have these people as a gang, as a group, most of the time you can have a very successful startup company, to create this startup company for Malaysia or for Sabah. So yeah, you should start exploring more on different area of the industry. Okay, so any more questions? I think we'll take another one or two more.
I'm Suraya ini. My question is JPKN accepting a 10 weeks internship?
Sorry?
Is JPKN accepting a 10 weeks internship?
Oh yeah, we accept 10 weeks is 10 weeks. Well, we prefer like three months, at least 3 months.
At least 3 months.
At least 3 months. Yeah, at least 3 months. Then because if 10 weeks, then because what we do is we give the students projects. So like maybe 10 weeks is not enough for them to complete a proper project. So at least 3 months, so that we can give you a good project that you can participate in. Okay. So that's why at least maybe I know some of the colleges, they say 10 weeks, but we ask the college if they can extend a few more weeks so that complete the 3 months. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, one last questions.
Okay, sir, I have a question. I'm Samuel here.
Yes,
So regarding to the cybersecurity you mentioned before,
Yeah.
is there any suggestion if I decided, any suggestion or where to start if I decided to take this path?
Okay, if you want to do cybersecurity, okay, at least you can start with database administrator and programming, because when you do cybersecurity, it's a supplement on those two skill sets, because you have to take care of the database, and then you also have to do a few programming to create softwares at the maybe the firewall level and that. So I would say the basic programming is a requirement if you want to do that cybersecurity. And then as you move along and then you upgrade your skill sets, then there will be new technologies and then new softwares that you need to learn. But at least you have a basic in programming and database administration. Also maybe networking. Yeah, networking. Because you'll be doing a lot of at the server level. Okay, server and the network level. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, yeah, that will conclude our question and answer. We come to almost to the end already.
William, is it one more question that has been answered by Wong?
Which one?
Working with the government, is it a good choice to get more experience? Personally, I think that if you work in the private firm, is also you will have a lot of experience, because in a private firm they deal with a lot of customers. Then you can get all sorts of you troubleshoot a lot of things. I think you learn a lot more from there, because you have to do the troubleshooting not only from one customers. You can have various customers and you see different kind of problems coming up, and that's how you learn and you gain experience from there.
Yeah. So Yeah, I started from a private company, then I got the opportunity to work in the government. But I guess it depends on which company you work for. Okay, so like if you want a good experience, do that hard job at the beginning. Don't be afraid of that hard job at the beginning. That's how you gain experience. You cannot get experience from your comfortable zone. Okay, you need to get your hands dirty also to stay. You know, so like if you after you grad, don't. Of course, I know today most people are looking for salaries. They want to go for big salaries. But if you need big salaries in IT industry, you need experience. So to get that experience, you need to do the hard work. Okay, so whatever you specialize in, just go in a company or whatever government and do maybe at least 3 to 5 years for that experience, or maybe 3 years. But the only thing is, if once you get into government, either you stay for the long term, or once you get out, you cannot go back into the government. So if you started at the private, there's an option for you to go into government. But once you go into government and you opt out, you have to go all the way into private lah. Yeah, that's the only situation there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Come to the end. I just wonder if Miss Teng, you have anything to say to conclude your session?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. William. Okay, so on behalf of Thai UC, I really like to say thank you to Mr. Isma for giving such a insightful sharing and also excellent presentations to our students as well. Some more for the advice. Yeah, I believe students will have some ideas now, hopefully, on their future path, future career. So I would like to also express my gratitude to Sabah Society team and also Mr. William for arranging this excellent talk to our students, and thanks to arrange this especially for our students. Yeah, thanks for that. And we are looking forward for another round maybe in the upcoming event. Hopefully, Mr. William too. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on behalf of IUC also, later I think I will email to Mr. William Chu about the certificates of appreciation. It's actually from Thai UC. So I think later on I will email it to you for all the sets. Thanks for that.
Okay. All right.
So that's all from me.
Is it possible to have a group photo where everybody on their
Sure.
video?
Sure. Yeah, students, can you all switch on your camera maybe? No?
Who can help to take the photo?
Yeah, can print screen.
Print screen.
Michael.
Yeah.
Everybody on their video, it'd be nicer to have your face there.
Maybe Miss Teng, after if the MCO is over, you can ask for a visit to JPKN. It's nearby.
We actually have one visit last time back in before the pandemic.
Earlier year.
Earlier year, yeah. 2019, if not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
And we actually have our students also into your applying to your department there for the internship. And basically they've been asked to extend another 2 weeks because you said you mentioned at least 3 months. So yeah, our internship, unfortunately, we only have like 10 weeks by our campus.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All of you have on your camera.
No, not many turn on the video.
Hands, please.
Oh, are very shy.
All are shy.
Yeah. If maybe they have not put on their makeup yet.
You're in their pajamas.
If not, then we just end the session like this lah.
Just take whatever.
Yeah, just take like this only lah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone. I wish you all the best.
Well done.
Stay
Just
safe.
one last word. If you want to know more about Sabah Computer Society, we do have a Facebook page. And from time to time, we do organize activities. For those students who, because if there are some topics which are relevant to the students, I don't know if Ms. Teng can take down their name and telephone number so that, or maybe next time if we have such an activity, I will WhatsApp you and you can let the student know if this kind of activity they will be interested or not, or you can visit our Facebook page, yeah, to see what are the activities you can join in and help out. You can call us, you know, or leave a message in the messenger there, and so on. Okay, right.
Thanks for that. Yes.
Thank you very much again
for
all of your participation, and thank you our president. Thank you Isma. Thank you Michael. Has been my our technical support at this webinar, and thank you Ms. Teng and all the students. Okay, thank you and see you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Okay.